Good afternoon and welcome to our coverage of the Tasmanian Statewide League. A battle of the Bombers in store for you this afternoon. Here from UTAS Stadium, it's Lauderdale taking on North Launceston. Lauderdale wearing the old school Cats jerseys today to deal with the jumper clash between these two sides. And it's a Northern Launceston outfit who come into this game off the back of a highly impressive result last week. They dismantled Clarence, stormed to a big win over a team that had been flying, beat them by 62 points. The Bombers, on the other hand, coming into this one off the back, a pair of disappointing defeats. They'll be looking for a response this afternoon. We're just about underway as Lee wins the first tap over the top to Cox Goodyear, who send them immediately inside 50 looking for the early strike. Joshua Williams picked it up, handballed across to Martin, and he'll clear defensive 50. Just working his man under the ball there, though, was Mitchell Nicholas with a push. The free kick will go the way of Alex Continenza. Chips in short to Bell Chambers. Lauderdale looking for a response after a disappointing couple of weeks. Bell Chambers just burst through. Got it to Finn Rackett. He's brought down, impacts the kick, but he's taken over the shoulder and get the free kick. So Rackett on centre wing at UTAS Stadium. Sends his side to half forward. Must have come off hands as the umpire waves play on. Calls for it. So Smith doing the rucking against Lee. Lee won it down to Simpson. Sam Siggins around the ball was immense last week, but didn't have too many supporters. Smith wins it down to Siggins, screws one around the corner, takes a tumbling bounce, awkward one to deal with. Lee flank just got a handball away, that was clever. Now they send it wide, gathered at half back, high into the sky, and Connor Young takes the mark. So Young turns it straight over, not his best work, straight to Williams at half back. He checks it into the corridor. Bryce Walsh tried to put it out in front of Bell Chambers, but invited in Vandam. Returning to this Bombers side today. Lee sweeps the handball, turned it over though to Stixie Blackburn. A bit of an ugly passage of play results in Pearce just punching one straight to Gridley. So neither side able to keep a hold of the football here in the opening 2 minutes. Jason Gridley sends the Bombers wide. Josh McGuinness had peeled off into space. Williams. So last week, quite content to knock the ball around the back half and try and execute these switches, but just let down by their foot skills. Certainly in the wide expanses of UTAS, they've got room for this style to really work, but to be hitting their kicks a little more consistently this week as Reece Sutton drops in at half back. Sutton will eventually be forced to kick to a contest. Flew over the head of Siggins, out the back to Sulzberger. Fired a handball inside, but then it's turned over to Walsh, who just got in the back there of Harry Bales. Harry Bales will take over. Prods it with the left. Oh, a bit of a bad drop there from Sulzberger. Lee works it back. Hubbard, ugly kick inside through the legs of Christensen. At ground level, he scraps on. Works it to Blackburn. Umpire calls over the shoulder. Free kick coming back to Christensen. Stands it up, trying to put it out there in front of Walsh. 2-on-1 in favour of the Cats, but just losing his footing was Gallagher. Allows all the Bombers to take it away by hands over the top. Handball from Pearce to Cox Goodyear did him no favours. Williams, silky. I thought there might have been a high free kick going the way Lauderdale, nothing doing, play continues. Bombers with the numbers at the full, but they run into each other. Christensen coming through. Umpire spots another free kick in the back on Christensen against Leary. The game he had last week, Brandon Leary. Christensen just puts it out into space for the leading forward. So Stanley Fakes one way. Sell the defender. So they'll do a retreat. Chip back in now to Sutton. Sutton wheels. And then just prods one into the wide open 50. Stanley trying to crash through. Gathered by Vandam. Got the handball away. Finn Rackett eventually controls. Vandam brings him down. And that'll be holding the footy. Good contest one there by Oscar Vandam. As Lauderdale threatened their first score of the afternoon. Cox Goodyear and half back. Penetrating kick up towards half forward. Tackle comes in from Tyler Martin. So Smith and Lee in the ruck. Smith palms it down to Siggins. Siggins clears the area, and taking a nice mark is Michael Blackburn. So Blackburn doesn't have anything immediately to his liking, delays and sends them inside 50 with an ugly kick, always to the favour of Hubbard. And he just chips it out of defensive 50. And half-back Harry Bales drives it to a contest on the wing, overall comers. Umpire again spotting something. Plenty of free kicks early in this one. This time going the way of Cats. Lauderdale Bombers wearing the Cats kit. To stop myself calling themselves the Lauderdale Cats all afternoon. Position on that, well noted. 2 Bombers and 7 teams, just bringing the Cats. Anyway, play continues in this battle of the Bombers, and either side able to find a score in the opening 6 minutes. A sweeping handball there, bouncing in was Bellchambers, got it off to Gallagher. His kick was charged down though by Vandam, who started well. Pressure comes from Francis. Gallagher gone there, surely. Vandam just clean dropped it. Trying to find a handball option. It was nicely done by Gallagher, and hasn't handed it straight back to him. That's a costly error from Oscar Vandam, who had started the game well, but he might have just gifted Lauderdale the opening goal here. Gallagher will go, he marched to within 5 metres. So for the opening score of the afternoon, Liam Gallagher sends it through the middle. And it's first blood to Lauderdale. Tight opening to this game. Had plenty of play inside the 450. It was important they got something to show for it, but rather gifted that one. Vandam just not returning the ball. To the middle of UTAS Stadium. Lee came over the top of Smith. He might have had his jumper grab. Play continues. McGuinness punches at half forward. That's a great mark from Blackburn. And the quick dish to Sammy Siggins. His kick was impacted, but it tumbles inside forward 50. The handball off to Francis around the corner. And Lauderdale have 2 in a minute. Thomas Francis, a clean break out of the middle. Just kept the ball moving. Nice word from Michael Blackburn leading out of the forward 50. Siggins, his kick impacted, but clean at ground level. Francis profits. So Lauderdale coming into this one in dire need of a response. Have started well. Northern Bombers coming off the back of the best performance of the year. Thumping win over Clarence last week. Been jumped slightly, but very early days here as the tackle is laid by Walsh. And a throw called, so it'll be a free kick going the way of Lauderdale once more. Bryce Walsh from the bullseye. Shifts it sideways, made Continenza work for it. There's plenty of Bombers at the fall. Just getting the handball away was Roney. A little bit of trouble, Perkins. Picked up by Ratcliffe, he flicked it to Continenza. Thumped forward again by Continenza. Gathered back there by Simpson, handball over the shoulder. They should be able to clear through Pitt. Roney worked it wide. And slammed back in the middle, and they've kept the ball in motion and worked it to Jack Ahern on the wing. So well done there from the Northern Bombers. Ahern will send them forwards. Making a great run out the back was Pearce. Pearce into the wide open 50, sets it up for his full forward, but he couldn't find him. The spoil though from Martin, hit ground level, gathered by Leary. Leary turning and shooting off targets. Saw how dangerous he is with those snaps last week. Brandon Leary just has a great instinct for where the big sticks are. And get it done on that occasion. Here's Steinbauer in the back pocket. Steinbauer. Mark taken there. Lauderdale will charge off down the line, but picked off by Ethan Hubbard. He looks to square it back into the middle. It was a risky kick. Walsh couldn't complete the transaction. Perkins trying to break free. Umpire in the end locking a free kick to Jeremiah Perkins as Smith and Pearce go at it. Far forward, Francis quite gather it. Won't get a free kick though. He does. Thomas Francis got it moving quickly and chipped it into Sutton. Sutton will have to kick from 50, so instead just opts to stand it up unselfishly. He finds the marking target of Stanley. Swung forward today, Ed Stanley. To extend the Bombers' lead to 17 points. It's been a bright start to this game for Lauderdale. So Ed Stanley, 40 out, directly in front. Looks good off the boot, and they have number 3. A strong start to this game from Lauderdale. The Bombers with the big cat on the Guernsey. A heritage strip, if you will, but call them what you want. They've made a strong start to this one. 3 goals straight, Lauderdale. North Launceston just one behind, and certainly winning the territorial battle early on. Teams coming into this game with just the 1 win, but say after last week, again with slightly different form lines. Certainly an important clash this one, as Smith won it down to Sutton. He flicked it back. Intercept taken there by Max Roney. Doesn't see anything immediately. Eventually sends it to half forward. Through hands, gathered by Sulzberger. Sulzberger wants the advantage. It's not forthcoming. It's a free kick going to Steinbauer. Chips it over the top, finds Patton. Patton kicks over the head of the leading forward Blackburn. Pressure being applied from Francis, forces the retreating handball. Christensen lurking. As Declan Shug sees it out of play. Back into play. Smith rubbed it down. Bales get it away. Smith gathered once more. Spare of Lee, but straight across the line. Decisively this time. Walsh first hands to it, couldn't gather. Tackle from Maroney, support from Pitt, and the umpire again calls for it. Gallagher, the opening goal of the game on the bottom of the pack. Lee again this time. Simpson gathers, just got a quick handball away. Nicholas. Patton back inside, but turned it over. Nicholas has to try and clear the area. That'll be play on. Bales gathers it and turn is gathered. And a good pressure around the ball, particularly from Lauderdale here. Smith, the second attempt on it down. Shug got his kick away. Around the corner, Fox Goodyear did well to work his opponent under the football. Lyons Young hitting up at half forwards. Connie Young. Next link in the chain is Max Roney. Handball inside, wasn't a great one to Cox Goodyear. Did well to gather it, got it back to Roney. Couldn't quite collect in time. Under pressure now from Gallagher. Gallagher just scoops it out towards the boundary. And a throw in. Attacking 4-8 for the Northern Bombers here, looking for their first of the afternoon. Smith wins it down. Patton going nowhere. Bellchambers couldn't clear the area. Sulzberger gathered by Bellchambers. Strong tackle that. It's the two 21s. The ball under each other. Real intensity around the ball from Lauderdale this week. A little absent at times last weekend. Gathered there by Sutton, just slammed it on the boot. Towards the line and eventually out of play from Connor Leaflang. Siggins now in the ruck. Francis is being held there, I would have thought. Umpire spots it. It's continued on afterwards. The free kick will come back for Lauderdale. Showing some nice signs early in this one is Thomas Francis. His hands on the ball. Chips this one inside. Will present an option. Immediate release for Sutton. That's ignored. Sutton also getting busy early on. This time just a chip sideways to Steinbauer. Steinbauer, Josh McGuinness. He bites off a little more than he could chew there. It wasn't a great kick. They've turned it over to Leary. Leary's handball was disrupted. Some nice work there in the end from McGuinness. Handball inside from Steinbauer. Sutton. A hand done pretty well under pressure to work their way through this. Lauderdale up to the wing now. Spoil came from Francis. Christensen with a handball out, but straight to Simpson. Bombers are high up and under. An awkward one to stand under for McGuinness. Eventually claimed on the tackle and the umpire will call for it. A couple of hard nuts going head to head there in Cox Goodyear and McGuinness. Some real leaders for their sides. Siggins awkwardly out of the ruck, but anybody's body and won the clearance. His kick picked off back there. Bales. Stagnant at the moment. Eventually he goes very wide. That allows him Liam Gallagher off his hands out of play for the throw. Back into play once more. Siggins works his way to the front, taps it down. Trying to bust through. Ends up holding his head. Gingerly back to his feet, Bryce Walsh. Lee gets the better of Siggins this time. Clears the area, floats over a couple of heads out the back. Winter under some pressure from Ollington. Very stoppage, heavy game this one at UTAS. gets the better of Lee, but roughed it straight to the opposition. Young takes it out of play. Slowly eking their way down the line here, stoppage after stoppage. Not a lot of wide open transitional football in the opening 20 minutes here. Contest to contest, stoppage to stoppage. So far that seems to be suiting Lauderdale slightly more than Northern Bombers. Pearce lays the tackle. Walsh to the deck there by Dominic Pitt. Perkins also involved. Lee will get the clearance, doing the ruck work. Meanwhile, I'm a little worried our cameraman's missed one of the goals of the year there. Play resumes. It looks like Harvey Griffiths from the pocket has kicked a goal for the Bombers. And Camo a little fixated on the fight, unfortunately. And the Northern Bombers have pulled one back here. Well, there's the pitfalls of calling from the studio for you. So it's going to be a free kick out of the middle going the way of Lauderdale. Looks like it was Harvey Griffiths who was the man they were mobbed to kick that goal down the other end. Apologies for that one. That's high tackle by Perkins. And Simpson just chipped backwards. Over the top to Simpson. Good mark taken by Connor Young at half forward. So Young sends them towards full forward. Back there, Tyler Martin in a one-on-one. Did well, but then he had Leary come over the top of him and give away the free kick. So Williams sweeps the handball. Steinbauer with his defensive 50, but Blackburn unable to take the mark up on that centre wing. Back into play, Siggins and Lee. Siggins palmed it down, flicked the handball over the top. Bombers work it forwards, taken away from Griffiths through traffic. Pearce, handball out, looking for Young. Numbers get back. The free kick will go the way of Connie Young. Connie Young sends one into the forward pockets. Well came from behind. Cox Goodyear off hands. One-on-one, but support comes in the form of Ratcliffe. Full under pressure, they've got the numbers. Eventually worked out by Martin. And finds the safety of the line as pressure was being applied from the Northern Bombers deep inside 450. Thumped decisively by Lee into the forward line. Cox Goodyear just shielding it from Williams and eventually trickles out for a throw in. Thumping piece of ruck work from big Alex Lee. Just starting to work their way on top in red time here. The home side. Sutton away. High into the air he goes. Nicholas couldn't gather it. Trying to break free is Francis. Eventually, Mitchell Nicholas will be able to clear the area. Takes it inside 50. Out of there from McGuinness. Siggins clean at ground level. By hand, they work it to Steinbauer. His kick is a poor one. And he goes straight back. It'll be all the Bombers. Take over. Attacking side of the wing. Ben Simpson. Eventually be able to gather. Simpson. There's a glance back into the corridor, but having shut off, so he just drives it to the forward line, taken away from Young. Lee tries to gather and did pretty well, the big fella. Got it to Leary. Leary's got a screaming little one in there. Cox Goodyear avoids giving me in the back away, then Griffiths crashes in. Umpire calls for it. Siggins taken away from Leary, coming out in the tackle. Siggins leaps early and then took it on the chest and got the clearance. Trying to gather was Francis, wouldn't sit for him. Handball out to Roney. Chips one inside for Lee. Lee with the handball to Sulzberger, closing the 45. Played Sulzberger. Wouldn't quite direct his effort. Very straight to 1-2. They're working their way back into this contest nicely. Lauderdale kicked the first 3 of the game. Thumping, clearing kick from McGuinness. Wasn't able to be marked from Siggins. It's locked into him. Deep into red time. Bell Chambers took well, but his handball was blocked off. Dives back on top of it. Might need to get rid of it here, Bell Chambers. Umpire lets it go. Eventually trying to extract it was Chubb. The umpire calls for it. Arm wrestle of a game at UTAS. 10-point lead to the visitors. Second time just to clear the area. Siggins gets the better of Lee. Christensen back inside to Siggins, to Walsh. Good hands from Blackburn. Can Blackburn find a marking target inside forward 50? Instead, handballs to Christensen and the siren will beat them, which is unfortunate for them. So that man wide open. And that will be quarter time here at UTAS. 3 straight 18 Lauderdale, leading the Northern Bombers 1-8. Pulled one back in red time and worked their way back into the contest after a strong start from Lauderdale. And I guess it was Harvey Griffiths who seemed to have kicked a bit of a miraculous goal. Unfortunately, the cameraman was zoomed in on the fight, so we didn't see it. But that brought them back within 10 points, and that's where we stand. At quarter time of this one, back in around about 5 minutes time with quarter number 2, an intriguing game developing here at UTAS Stadium. quarter number 2 from UTAS Stadium. After the first term, it's Lauderdale leading this one 3 straight 18 to North Launceston 1-8. Pretty tight first term. Lauderdale having the better of the first 15 minutes or so. North Launceston pretty good in red time, pulled one back. Harvey Griffiths scoring a spectacular goal from the pocket. Cutting the margin to 10 points as we start the second term. Low scoring grind. They're underway. Pearce coming through. Let's see accommodatingly. Does eventually slam it on the boot. To the forward pocket it goes. Bouncing over the head of Ives. Leary down there as well. Thrown in. Ives rucking against Smith. Around level. Swings out the back, picked up there by Martin. Gathered by Cox Goodyear with strength in the fend off. Sulzberger's kick charge down by Siggins. Bombers looking for an early strike here in quarter number 2. On the attack here as Ives rucks it down. Turning, ducking into it a little though as Leary. Again will call for it. It's not a lot of stoppages in quarter number 1. The pattern being re-established early in the second term. Smith and Ives will once again duel. Smith reaches over the top, coming through traffic. Cox Goodyear claimed in a good tackle though. It was nicely done. Ridley is eventually the chance to try and work it out of there, slapped away off the chest of Cox Goodyear. It is hot in the kitchen. Doing well, Gridley, and they work the ball out of there. Walsh slams it on the boot. A clear defensive 50, but Alex Lee parked back there, took a strong mark on the home side. And we'll look to send them back inside 50 once more. Just stands it up. Forwards to leap at Siggins. Plays the 1-2, then got into trouble. Got to be holding the footy. Run down from behind by Vandam. Siggins trying to create off half back, but Vandam winning the free kick and pumping it deep inside forward 50. Almost marked down there by Ives. Ran into Cox Goodyear. And the free kick will go the way of Lauderdale. Cox Goodyear argues the point. Tyler Martin, the one. Worse for wear. Actually take his free kick. Across the face. They eventually do clear the area. Smith, quite mark, off hands ahead of Bennett. Into play, Lee down the tackle applied by Leary. And again, Ridley applying the pressure on Leary. Smith won it down. Cox Goodyear going nowhere. Siggins the tackle on Pearce. We'll go again. Can anyone get a decisive clearance? Probably not, as Siggins is immediately wrapped up. Somehow got the handball away. Jack Ahern fired one out to Harvey Griffiths, and Griffiths weaves out of trouble and sends them deep inside forward 50. Sits out the back. Will it fall for Theo Ives? Got boot to it, but not enough. And rush through, 4 behind. Just couldn't quite make the contact he was after there, Theo Ives. Swung his boot at the tumbling ball. Three straight to 1-3. Siggins flies over his head. Vandam swings the handball back inside to Bales. Bales try and execute the switch. The handball out in front of Chug. Chug will send them inside forward 50. A couple of one-on-ones. Ollington beaten there. It's out of play. Or a throw in. But tosses it back into play. Smith and Ives. Cox Goodyear got the handball out. Pearce got ball to boots. Just behind. 1-4. Eating away at this lead. This one's chipped to Patton at half-back. Christensen. Did well, Christensen. Slick hands through the middle, and they'll charge forwards here. It wasn't a great kick, though. Numbers out the back with Chug. Just got away from Blackburn. Lee Flang got his handball away in time. Chug. Handball back into dispute. Joshua Williams. Back to Chug. And this time Chug hits his kick, and they're away through the middle. Lee Flang charging forwards and sends them inside 50, where Cox Goodyear shows a strong pair of hands. Some dash through the corridor. Presented one-on-one look there. The experienced Bradley Cox Goodyear. It's a tough marking option they've got. So can Bradley Cox Goodyear cut the margin back to 2 points? He kicks from just inside 50. Just hung it out. The lefty was wheeling it back, but he couldn't quite bend it around the post. And goal 5 now. And all the Bombers as McGuinness in the defensive 50. Siggins the target. Smith in there. Walsh on the bottom of the pack. Continenza tries to shrug the tackle, flicked up in the air. Walsh, the handball to Siggins. Siggins thumps it forward. 3-on-2 in favour of the Bombers. Oh, horse collar tackle coming out there. And now Christensen setting sail for home. Tried to bend it back on the breeze, but just the wrong side of the stick. 3-1-1-5, their first score in a while, the Bombers. First 3 goals of the game. Largely defending since then. Lee Flang was back to the pocket. Fletcher Bennett threw Hubbard to him. He has some time to assess the options and chip a dicey ball that went straight to Siggins. He handballs over the top to Walsh. Walsh handballing it to Christensen. Taken high there, surely Christensen. Umpire said ducked into it, nothing doing. And we'll call for it. It's Christensen self-expectantly been doing there. Promising moment. That's to nothing, but a forward stoppage situation. Through traffic, Jeremiah Perkins. His kick misses everything. Lee wins it down. Traffic bails. Pumps it out of there. Bouncing for Pitts. Surrounded though by a Lauderdale player. Smith, dexterous the big man, and sends them inside 50. Falls in the Gallagher direction. Taken away from him. Slap back inside, lead with a fist to it. Tried to feed it to Perkins, fell instead to Walsh. Walsh standing up for Blackburn, juggling it, couldn't complete the mark. Roger Bennett in close proximity there. Siggins looking to gate each other. El Chambers burrowing in, Bales there for the Northerners. Lee leapt early, won it down to Walsh. Walsh claimed by Chug and holding the ball, says the umpire. He decided there's no effort to get rid of it. It's coming nowhere in that tackle of Chug. He hands it to Hubbard, who under a little bit of trouble, was agile enough to get around Stanley. Lee Flang fighting on, fell out to Bennett. Bennett to Lee Flang, who continued his charge forward, and now he chips one for Cox Goodyear. Big pair of hands there and chips it inside forward 50. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Leary, but over the shoulder is the call from the umpire. Brandon Leary can go back and cut the margin to 2 points. O'Leary, let's fly from 40 out and splits the middle. He's a fine player, Brandon Leary. He gets his first of the afternoon. The Northern Bombers 2-5-17 close the margin to 2 points. Lauderdale 3-1, still holding sway. A few minutes attack, hold out and then get it up the other end. The goals cut the margin. They've worked their way back into this one nicely. Kicked 6, of course, last week, Brandon Leary. 11 for the season, now 12, as this one's one down, just running over it with Sulzberger. Hand him in there, eventually Sutton. And ball over the top to Patton. Patton around the corner. Taking Mitchell Nicholas back there, and he has time to retreat to Lee Flang. Ollington holds it over the top, good spoil from behind. Must keep a hold of the football though. Ollington turning and sending him to half forward. Cox Goodyear can get his handball away. Slammed on the boot inside the forward 50. Leary lurking dangerously. Leary gathers and snaps! And it just went out of play. His effort was offline regardless. Just a dangerous play any time. He's lurking around the football inside forward 50. Down by Siggins against Connor Young. Umpire spots a free kick. Way of Jason Gridley. His kick just putting the pressure there on Martin. His handball straight to the opposition through traffic. Kicks it deep inside forward 50, off hands. Gathered by Griffiths. Tried to shrug the tackle, got the handball away. Ahern diving in. Here. All of our players dive onto him. It's Goodyear in the ruck, but coming through heavy traffic was Sulzberger and kicking a fantastic goal. Just ran it better, Blade Sulzberger. And he puts his side ahead for the first time this afternoon. The Northern Bombers 3-5-23, leading Lauderdale 3-1-19. They've worked their way on top of this game. First 15 minutes, largely Lauderdale. Since then, The hosts certainly had the better of the contest. They take the lead for the first time this afternoon. Something off the ball, perhaps that 666 infringement. Ives up against Siggins. Siggins trying to gather. It was under pressure from Ollington. Nice work from Patton, got it to Walsh. Walsh's kick finds a marking target of Blackburn. Blackburn wheels and goes quickly, prods it forwards. Can't find a target, but on the bounce was Stanley. Forced to retreat. Slapping it on the boot was Gallagher out of bounds on the full line. Bombers by hand, but Blackburn picks it off, turns onto the right and surely kicks the goal. Stixie Blackburn was lurking, and he does the job to put his side back ahead for 125. Just a little too casual coming out of the back there, the Northern Bombers. Sticking the hand up in the lane was Blackburn. On it down, roved his own work. Super stuff. They reclaim the lead. Back up by 2 points, Siggins and Ives. The rucking, Ives went early, did it well, got it down to Ollington. Slammed it up into the air, missed it away from Vandam, but umpire, it's not a free kick going against Vandam, in fact. Driven on out of there. Squill takes it away from Blackburn. Patton scored it over the line. Christensen towed it across to Patton. Siggins over the top for Francis. Francis arches the back, then swings a retreating handball, but that was straight to Sulzberger. Coming in now, Pearce, under pressure from Patton and across the line. Ives over the top, but won it down only to Christensen. Bell Chambers tumbles it forwards. Running hard was Reece Sutton. Gathered eventually by Blackburn. Tries to shrug a tackle, but strong was Heath Ollington. And wins the free kick. Blackburn feeling the confidence flowing after that last goal. Just going to take his man on. Heath Ollington. A firm tackle. Half back now. Kicks to a contest. Oh, Siggins with the one hand. Just holds his marker off with one. Reels it in with the other. And ships it to half forward, where in acres of space was Francis. Thomas Francis. It's just beyond him, so instead tried to punch one to Smith. It wasn't a good kick. Ollington parked back in the space. Might be 15, so they'll be forced to play on. The hands, they work it across to Bennett. Gave it to Lee Flang. Lee Flang just got his kick away in time. He was pressuring to try and win it back at ground level. Bell Chambers forward on. Bustling through Winter. Winter shifts the handball out. Bales couldn't gather. And climbing in was Francis. Lee and Siggins. Lee thumps it away. across. Pearce sees it taken away from him by Winter. Back into play once more. Siggins worked his way to the front, but went out the back to Lee. Tried to pick it up and crashed through a Ratcliffe tackle. Small man doing well there against the big ruckman. Lee, beautifully rucked down. Thompson, ruckman, Siggins the first to it though, and then Pearce runs onto it. Swings a kick inside forward 50. Griffiths with slick hands for Cox Goodyear. Couldn't quite control. Over the top of him was Williams, and he got in his back. So the free kick to Bradley Cox Goodyear. He wheels around to his left. Might be within range. It'll take his best from here. Side trailing by 2 points. Red time quarter number 2. Bradley Cox Goodyear. Arches out to the left. Gives it a ride. It's drifting across the face. All the way across the face. No score. And McGuinness. So Jackahan just told to take a few steps back. Josh McGuinness from the last line of defence carries it out. Siggins the target, flying was Ollington. And miles up in the air and eventually marked by Hubbard. He goes inside for Griffiths. Griffiths, a few options ahead of him, takes it wide. Cox Goodyear, always a likely target. This will be a tough kick for the left footer though. The angle firmly against him. Great effort on his last shot. We'll see if he can manage a little bit better here to start. The veteran Cox Goodyear. Get his side back in the lead. Again, he hangs it out to the left, and again, he doesn't trouble the scorers. Williams. Here's defensive 50, Siggins. With his hands, Griffiths tumbling through. Nicholas gathered it, but he's going nowhere. William Gallagher wrapping him up tightly. He came over the top of Siggins. Handball out to Ollington. Ollington tries to shrug a tackler. His kick impacted inside 50, just running over the top of it though. The defender. It's on his boot here, and here's defensive 50. Taken away from Simpson. Back into play. Down. Turning side with an Ollington. There by Young. Young swings onto the right, sends it into the forward pocket. And bounces out ahead of Martin. Wrestle of the game, Ives and Siggins. Ives from the front. Coming from Joshua Williams. Siggins just gets rid of his opposite ruckman Ives, slammed it on the boot. There's not a lot to give away, the free kick there, Steinbauer. Ratcliffe in tight confines, find a handball, Walsh couldn't quite gather. Cox Goodyear onto the ball. Cox Goodyear slamming it on the boot from 45. doubled the scorers this time. And only for a minor score. They cut the deficit to 1. Martin. Hawks trying to take it away from the contest. Cox Goodyear now on the bottom of it. Top of him, Stanley. Continenza, rather. Siggins it down, but Griffiths slapped it on, and then it found its way to Lee, sends them inside 50. Great mark taken by Ives. Worked his way to the front. Did really well there, Theo Ives. Deep into quarter number 2. He can put his side ahead. Theo Ives kicks from 25 out. He misses. So he scores a level, but really letting them off the hook in this quarter. The Northern Bombers 3 goals 7 now. Tally a couple of out of bounds on the full as well from Cox Goodyear. They've been a tad wasteful. Scores all tied up as this one kicks to a contest off hands of Lee. Gathering at Ollington. His way and kicked it onto the leg of Continenza. Sent back into play. Siggins. Wooded Christensen. Tackle away from Harvey Griffiths. Siggins did well, bounced off the opposing ruckman, swung the kick out the back. Gathered though by Nicholas, he retreats to Hubbard. Kicked into dispute, a risky one, but a good one in the end to Declan Chugg. Might open things up, Chugg. Finesses one to half forward. Finds a marking target, and then they'll go deeper into the pockets. Off the hands there. Man Shandon trying to bounce out of trouble. He dropped the ball. It's got to be a free kick. Tate Winter shutting him down there. Tyler Martin, rather. Recipient who immediately sends it to full back. And Christensen try and play out of defence with this precise kicking Walsh. Sutton. Just to settle things down. Reece Sutton. I think Lauderdale would be quite content to find a half-time break here as this kick finds Liam Gallagher. Gallagher found Sutton, who's working hard to get involved in this chain. Reece Sutton. Now he takes off, drives them down the line. Stay in play, it won't. Really give Siggins a play. It matters not, because there was the half-time siren, and we were all square at the major break at UTAS Stadium. The home side, the Northern Bombers, 3-7-25, leading Lauderdale. The Cats kit, though normally the Bombers 4-1-25. Level at the major change. Launceston probably letting Lauderdale off the hook a bit there in the second term. Well and truly had the better of the contest, but missed a few. Probably feel they should have done better with. Probably been on top of the contest. It's around about the 15-minute mark of the first, but they're level on the scoreboard where it all matters, and setting up an intriguing second half here at UTAS Stadium. Back in around about a quarter of an hour's time to bring it to you. Calling the action on the TSL live stream for you. It's 25-25, half time in the Battle of the Bombers. Australian coverage for the TSL Battle of the Bombers. North Launceston v Lauderdale, all square at half-time in this one. 4 goals, 1 Lauderdale, 3 goals, 7 to the home side. Probably feel they should be ahead in this one. Missed a few opportunities in that second term, but if the pattern and trends of the game continue to go the way they have been, they're sitting quite nicely. It's over to Lauderdale to responders. An immediate clearance goes the way of the Northern Bombers. Off hands, snapping is Leary. He's bending it back, and it's just stopped on the line. That would have been quite the opening to the quarter. As Leary, so dangerous around the big sticks. Really get that one back to absolute perfection. McGuinness will lead them out. Spoiling from behind was Smith. And ball to Walsh. His kick turns straight over to Nicholas. So Mitchell Nicholas driving the Bombers forward. Bringing down a fine marks Theo Ives. Really well there. Extending the jukes and immediately walks back to his mark. And back himself in to carry the journey. Missed one, he probably should have kicked corner number 2. Taking a good mark. Closer to goal than this shot. Theo Ives. Kick from just inside the paint. He's working it back and he didn't quite have the journey. Touched on the line. So the lead, 2 points. Those 2 points they've kicked to start this term. 3-9 to 4-1. McGuinness shipping it short to Rackett. Swings it out wide. Charlie Treasure. Charlie Treasure chip short. Just for a bit of confusion with the 5 and 36 in the first half, and given the updated team sheets, a few late hijinks there. Players swapping numbers from what I was given, but number 5 Charlie Treasure, number 36 Finn Rackett. Just for the confusion there in the first half. This one's kicked into the contest, taken away from Vandam. Trying to shrug the tackle man Shandon, going nowhere. Stixie Blackburn all over him. So Smith and Lee, Siggins in there as well. Walsh gave it to Siggins, couldn't gather cleanly. Griffiths find out a handball. It's been a game dominated by stoppages. Tested and congested sort of a game. Lee wins this one down. Winter trying to charge through. He's held up by Simpson. Smith and Lee. Lee follows up, gets his kick deep forwards. Numbers with the Bombers, but just losing his footing there. It was McGuinness. Ives and Smith. Ives won it down. Cox Goodyear lurking. Smith just thumps it out of midair. Marking contest. Off hands. Spilt to Wallington. His kick was off hands. Then dashing off into space. And kicking a fine goal there. He is the danger man, Brandon Leary. He is just such a threat whenever the ball hits the deck inside forward 50s. Work below his knees, his goal sense, his ability to get back and snap those shots on target is second to just about none in this competition at the minute. He kicks another one. Around the corner on the run. There are a few players who would want the ball in their hands of more. Brandon Leary. So 8 points now the lead and doing all the scoring. To start this third quarter are the home side, firmly on top at the moment. Lee comes over the top, but straight down to Siggins. Up and under on the left boot. Noir forward. There was Infringement on Blackburn, which has been spotted. Distance might be just beyond him. So he just chips one, almost found Christensen, just taken away from him at the last second. Smith parked underneath this one, and under pressure from Ivesy Marks. Wanted the immediate release. Ahern shut that down. Smith selling a little candy to Ives, then driving an ugly mongrel punt that's just towed away. In the end, it works out pretty well. Leary gathers, sends it to half forward. Connor Young. Connor Young, a low one down the line. It wasn't a great kick to Cox Goodyear. Somehow kept it in play. Came to Patton. Patton chips it over the head of Smith. Now the Bombers can punch it inside forward 50. They've got a man out the back here. Can they work it? It's Griffiths. And he slides it through for another one. They had the 2-on-1 over the back. Defender couldn't cover them both. And in the end, Griffiths slides through their 5th of the day. And a 14-point break. Their most decisive of the afternoon. 5-9 to 4-1. The scoreboard now starting to reflect the contest a little more. So Lauderdale need a response here. Lee, nice piece of ruck work over the top. Dashing onto it was Sulzberger. Coming out through the back was Ollington. He sends them deep in there, but that's a good relieving mark taken deep in defence from Tyler Martin. Chip short to Christensen. Lauderdale's coach here. He chips one to Walsh. Walsh continues that method of movement to Charlie Treasure. Treasure. To the next contest, Siggins had a lot of it, enough in the umpire's estimation. Mark paid. Real flow to their play here though, the Bombers, all very stagnant. Start chipping round. Just try and control the ball for a moment here and settle things down. He kicks to a contest. Up the back, running past it, Sulzberger. Sutton. Trying to get it out of there, but can't do so. Or eventually call for it. Siggins follows up and lays the tackle as well. Lee this time. Rove his own ruck work. Spoil came from behind. Cox Goodyear couldn't gather under pressure from Treasure. All fend off and then shrugs off the utensils of Bellchambers to work it outside. Shipped in the Pierce direction. Martin came, took the man but didn't get the ball, and they'll get it deep inside 50. Leary lurking. Will it sit for him? Leary gathers, turning inside, keeping his feet. Just got his kick away. Then worked it to Ahern, and a brilliant save from McGuinness. Oh, like a soccer goalkeeper he was. Charging that one down and getting a boot to it. And only a behind there. McGuinness doing ever so well to deny Ahern. Deliri done well to work it to him. Siggins now. Spills out the back. Jeremiah Perkins will drive them inside forward 50. Smith always favoured, doing well not to infringe leaf lang, but it fell to Sutton. He snaps it goalward. Sutton! Offline for a behind. 4-2-26, their first score in a while. They're in arrears by 14 points. This one's chip short for Sulzberger. Laid from defence. Drives him out with his left foot. Siggins might have just infringed Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear, well, he gets away now. Surely not. Tough to go back. He played on about 5 metres in front of where it was. Very cheeky stuff. That's pretty well to play on anyway. Works it to Chug. Chug chips it to half forward. 2-on-2 down there. Fell to Williams. Didn't have an option, forced to retreat. Handball over the top to Bellchambers. Williams continues his run. Little underground handball to Winter. Immediately under pressure. Going nowhere. Jack and Hearn in there, and then he and Bellchambers square off. Lee just able to grab it out of the ruck. Kicks it forward. Walsh, it wasn't 15, so he didn't want to mark it. Fell to Cox Goodyear, ducks the head. Then he's in trouble. Winter's got him, and he's pinged for holding the football. Well, he was looking to draw a little high for a kick. The moment the umpire didn't pay that, it was always likely to be holding the ball. So rewarded Tate Winter, and he immediately treats him round, or making Williams work for that one. It wasn't clean on the exit. He tossed back into play at half forward for the Northern Bombers. Something's happened off the ball here though. And that'll be a free kick going the way of Williams. Josh Williams shoots a little short one and finds Bellchambers. Bellchambers again. Really likes, so we'll try and execute the switch. Did so to a 2-on-1. Siggins, well, it bounced up to him all right. Got it to Winter, worked it to Christensen, kept his feet and his composure. Back to Winter. Now Sam Siggins charging through. His ball to half forward, easily chopped off by Bales. Harry Bales drives it into the middle of the ground, and by hand they'll flick it there through here. They charge towards half forward. Not a good kick though. Williams able to work it to Winter. Winter chips it in the Christensen direction. Winter followed up. Siggins to Christensen. Sutton now. He's got two men off to his right. That's where he heads. One of them's Charlie Treasure. Treasure with a low grub kick inside forward 50. Slammed on the boot. They got numbers out the back. Smith. They just needed to keep the ball moving, because eventually they were going to get to their outnumber. And Hayden Smith will go back to try and cut the margin to 8. It's always clean, but better from Lauderdale, showing a little more dare going through the middle of the ground here. It leads to this scoring opportunity for the big ruckman, Hayden Smith. Needs to kick it. The opportunities they need to swallow up. Hayden Smith kicking from 20 out. He does the business. They're back within 8. 5-2-32 Lauderdale. 5-10-40 North Launceston. 8 more behinds. And that is the margin we have here, midway point of the third term, and approaching a critical juncture this game. Lauderdale badly needed that one. Siggins tried to get rid of the clearance. Didn't do so. Christensen lays a tackle on Orrington. Lee armed it down, but straight to Bellchambers. Got his handball away. Now Siggins pushes off, and we'll send Lauderdale inside forward 50. Spoil came. Spinning off one, then bouncing off another. Perkins, but he's caught by the third tackler. Couldn't get the better of Mitchell Nicholas. He bounced off a couple. The numbers are always favouring the home side there. Short kick was dicey, let in Francis. Francis now laying the tackle. Did it just slip up a little low? It did. And the free kick will go to Chug. Chug. Short kick to Nicholas. Keeps it moving. Through the corridor he goes. Charging forwards, man Shandon. Sends it. Oh, in Pitt's direction. Copped a heavy hit from Gridley. Leary turning onto his right and then spearing one inside 50. Couldn't quite find his target there in Sulzberger. McGuinness off hands. Now Patton under pressure. He's claimed from behind by Roney, although getting into his back, in the umpire's opinion, for a kick to Luke Patton. Perkins worked it back to Ratcliffe. Now to play for a throw in. Siggins, Patton, slammed her on the boot. Firm coming together there between Smith and Mitchell, the two number 6s. Same number, definitely not the same stature. Big Hayden Smith with a fair size advantage there. Mitchell bounced off the big ruckman. Ruckman decisively. Siggins following up. His handball was spoiled though by Ollington, and he might have just slipped up the shoulder of Siggins. A free kick going the way. The Lauderdale Star. Sends them towards half forward. Smith a likely target, but just outmarked there in the end by Harry Bales. Well against the taller opponent. Bales retreats. Declan Chugg executing the switch. Doing it nicely. The ball inside there to Hubbard. He goes back to Bales. Stood by Smith. Bales wanted a little dish inside. That wasn't on. Instead, he'll just short one, which Pitt made a bit of a mess of and forced into a tackle. The defending and have a stoppage in the middle of the ground. Siggins, oh, Silky took it away and sends them inside forward 50. The kick not quite so good. And Chugg, the only one parked back there, has time to go back, gather, dish it over the top to Bales. Bales punching one down the line. Gathered by Connor Young in flight, and he works it further afield to a one-on-one. Griffiths caught behind, spoiled away from him. And Young just stepping out of play. Siggins flicks the handball up. Del Chambers want to extract it, worked it back to Siggins. Slams it on the boot. Smith outnumbered. Hale's there, but well done Stanley. Now Francis strikes some attention. Gets it inside 50. Intercepted once more though. Now they'll switch it across to Roney under some pressure from Patton. The extra number though, and used it to his advantage. Wellington carries it out of there. Desperate defensive work. Gridley timing to see that one out of play. 8 points the margin, ticking towards red time in quarter number 3. The home side, the better of the contest, but just hanging around to Lauderdale, and certainly close enough if they're good enough and can finish this one strongly. Siggins working his way to the front, eventually gathers it. Find the handball out to Sutton, but he's run over the line. Nathan Pearce doing the defensive work there. Siggins in the lead, Ives rather. Decisively, a free kick's been plucked. It will go to Sutton. And Reece Sutton, centre wing in the sunshine at UTAS. He chips short to Bryce Walsh. Walsh wanted a short option, nothing doing so. In the end, he retreats all the way back to Williams, and Williams will go even further back to McGuinness or Martin. Martin now into the corridor to Sutton. He walked it into the middle. And he goes shorter still to Patton. Very controlled this build up from the back, but eventually he'll go forwards and invited the Bombers in. Fletcher Bennett didn't do much with the handball. Perkins flicked it out. Free kick will go the way of Fletcher Bennett against Thomas Francis. Chips wide for Mitchell. And Lockie Mitchell. He goes back. Here's Sulzberger. Quick handball over the top to Hubbard. He draws a couple and then retreats to try and switch things up. Lee Flang. Flang finds Nicholas. He sweeps the handball to an on-running Fletcher Bennett. A bit of overlap here. Bennett now sends them forward. It's a good kick, but Winter did really well. Decisive fist gathered though by Jack Ahern. He turns free and sends them inside 50, and the mark is not quite taken. Oh, free kick's been paid though to Connie Young, and he'll get the shot all the same. Last few minutes have been a real arm wrestle. Finally, a clear scoring chance here. 14-point lead. Big time in the third term. Be a valuable break in what hasn't been particularly high-scoring afternoon here at UTAS. Connie Young, important kick this one from the angle. He loved it as soon as it left the boot, Connie Young, and they do kick out to a 14-point lead, the Northern Bombers. 6:10:46 to 5:2:32. Lauderdale. Bit of ball control there in the last few minutes. Couldn't find a way through. North Launceston do it nicely, work it up the ground, and in the end, Connie Young, the recipient of a free kick. 14 points. Lauderdale certainly do with a goal in the shadows of three-quarter time here. The home side with a 14-point break, and they're going to win this clearance away 2 through Pearce. He drives them inside 50. It's picked off by Josh Williams. He had 2 to hit and turned it straight over. Simpson. He sends Northern Bombers deep inside 50, off hands, out the back. Harvey Griffiths doesn't need to gather, can just go off the deck. They've got 2 in 30 seconds. And that could be a decisive break for the Northern Bombers. 7-2-52, they lead by 20 points. Just got it in deep. And Harvey Griffiths, not as spectacular as his first. It counts just as much on the scoreboard, and that is a handy break they've got now. 20 points for the Northern Bombers. Going to make it back-to-back victories here. Having polished off Clarence in some style last week. Lauderdale. An effort here today, but again, like another defeat unless they can turn things around. Christensen into the middle. Smith. Below the knees, I reckon the free kick blown on this occasion. Lee will be the recipient. Ships it short. Pearce. Walsh just halts him. Pearce will drive them direct. Oh, Harvey Griffiths again. Bobs up and takes a fine mark. So he can go back and he can try and kick 2 in a minute. It'll be 3 in a minute pretty much for his side. And they could be sailing off into the distance here in red time in quarter number 3 to extend it to 26 points. It's Harvey Griffiths. He's 3rd of the afternoon. Hammers it into the post. The margin stays at 21. Would have just about killed them off with that one. Chandler just holding on. That's a horrible kick out. Turned it straight over. Gathered by Leary. And Leary does extend the lead out to 27 points. Just sloppy there. The kick out. Missing the target. Put it into a nest of Bombers players. And there was Brandon Leary to pick it up. Slam it on the root. And they do have that big break. They've kicked 3 goals here in red time in the third term after Lauderdale cut it back to an 8-point margin. And quite the response from the hosts. Lauderdale, who managed just 5 goals for the afternoon, will need at least that from here on out to win the match. It's certainly a mountain to climb now. Siggins and Lee, Christensen. Tackled by Sulzberger. Siggins, Christensen. Swings it out of there. Bounces again. Sutton swung his fist at it. Siggins charging through, couldn't gather. Ball inside to Nicholas, just got it away in time. Bales. And Shandon. Quick handball was sharp from Sulzberger. Along the outer side, some stylish work here from Bales. Fired a handball to Nicholas. Bales has continued his run, but they go inside instead. Back to Nicholas. Nicholas closing in on 50, just stands it up for Cox Goodyear. It was beautiful play there from the Northern Bombers, flowing through the middle of the ground. And leads to another chance there. Veteran forward Bradley Cox Goodyear, who hasn't had the day he would have liked in front of goal so far. Behind and a couple out of bounds on the full. This one looking a lot better off the boot though, and splits the middle. Class is permanent. There is Bradley Cox Goodyear with another one for the Northern Bombers, and they've more than doubled Lauderdale's score now. It's 65-32. And as we are on the verge of three-quarter time, that could just about be curtains on the contest. They have motored away here to end quarter number 3. The 21-minute mark of the quarter, it was 40-32. They've slammed on 4 straight. 5.5 minutes to play, basically. Free kick will go the way of Sam Siggins. Wink of an eye, they've pulled away and probably put this game beyond Lauderdale. It's been a wonderful burst from the home side. It's been hard to come by today, but they've hit the accelerator. Jeremiah Perkins will be paid the mark, so just pull the defender, chug back on his line as this one steered into Blackburn. Or no, it's Francis who's dropped in front of him and taken the mark. And he will go back after the siren and try and cut the margin to 27 points. And I think it goes without saying, if there to be any chance here in the final quarter, this simply must go through from Thomas Francis. Give them a glimmer. He'll kick after the siren from about 45 metres out. With a badly needed goal here, Francis. He hangs it out to the right. It's a behind only. And they reach the final term, 32 points in arrears. They're going to need something special in this final term, because the Northern Bombers have hit the accelerator in red time and kicked 4 goals in 5 minutes to have a 32-point break at the final change. This game well under their control as we reach three-quarter time. It was scary stuff from the Bombers there as they flick the switch late on. This one well within their keeping now. We'll be back in a few minutes' time to see if there's some fight in Lauderdale in the final term. As the Northern Bombers firmly in the ascendancy here at UTAS Stadium at three-quarter time. 9-11-65 to 5-3-33. So welcome back for the final term here at UTAS Stadium. The home side firmly in the ascendancy. The Bombers 9-11-65, leading Lauderdale 5-3-33. As we look to begin at the final quarter here, around the grounds for you before we start. Some tight matches in the TSL this afternoon. Launceston and Kingborough Tigers are locked at 31 apiece. 17 minutes gone in the second quarter in that big match there, the grand final replay. Whilst Glenorchy are leading Clarence early in the third term down at Launceston Arena. 1 goal 12 Clarence have kicked. They're on 18, trailing the Magpies 3-3-21. So plenty of exciting action going on around the TSL this afternoon. Potentially big boil over at Launceston Arena. Back to the action here though. We're underway for the final quarter. Lauderdale with an absolute mountain to climb if they're going to come back and win this one. Trailing by 32. They only scored 33 points for the day. Here's Nathan Pearce with the free kick in the middle of the ground. He was off to his right and drives them inside 50. Almost taking it Ives. Young. Leary. Now Hubbard backtracking. And chips it straight to Christensen. Alan Christensen sends it out in the Patton direction. Mark that one in stride. Just finesses one over the top. Blackburn hitting up at the football. He wheels and goes and sends them inside forward 50. The pack forms. Just off the knee there of Siggins. Then Shandon. And balled across to Vandam. And then Bennett. They carried out a defence here. Continuing his run was Vandam. Storming down the wing here. Oscar Vandam sends them to half forward. Had a man in acres of space. It's Cox Goodyear, normally a good user. This is no exception. He finds Nathan Pearce. All on his own. Speed of ball movement just bringing Lauderdale undone there. And Nathan Pearce can go back 30 out directly in front. To probably drive final nail into the coffin here, you'd say. To extend their lead to 38 points. Leads back just offline. 9 goals 12. They got on a bit of a run late in that quarter where they started addressing the accuracy, but I think they're 5-10 at one stage. It's probably been one area they've let themselves down a little this afternoon as Tyler Martin clears the area, went looking for Siggins. Just smashed off the ground up towards half forward. Well met though by Fletcher Bennett. Hit the ball with speed, turned away with it, sends them up in the Griffiths direction. He couldn't gather under pressure from Bell Chambers. Still got his handball away to Sulzberger. He sends it over the top for Nathan Pearce. Wants to shape onto the right. He's claimed in a tackle. Just got his kick away. William Manshandon flies onto it. Manshandon squares it up. Couldn't quite find the marking target, and sweeping it across was Ratcliffe to Treasure. Just got his handball away in time, but that was straight to the opposition in Simpson. And now Chug charging from 55. He sends it deep. Off hands. Gathered in the square by Ives. He couldn't quite get a boot to it. And through 4 behind as the wrestling match breaks out. And it is on here in the forward pocket. As Christensen waits to take the kick out. Eventually just chips it to Gridley. Gridley is off his mark here and sends Ives to the deck. Here's the area. Punched away towards the boundary, gathered by Perkins. Back to Sutton, now Siggins. Now Ratcliffe. This is better ball movement from Lauderdale. Patton streaming forwards, but some nice work in front there. Bennett, then he got collected. Manshandon got leg there, I reckon, by Walsh. Out of play beforehand, though. Thrown back in. Lee takes front position. Smacked away by Simpson. Handball to Pearce. Pearce fires one over the top, and they've got some runners. Ives just pitched a little short kick instead to Ahern. Ahern almost getting the better of Winter. Kept going, needs to get rid of it. He took too long, and Winter gets him. Young Tate Winter battle hard as the advantage has been played, and they search it into the middle of the ground now for Francis. Just held up though. Here's Francis, assesses his options and then kicks it straight to the opposition. Heath Ollington intercepting. Storming our defences, Declan Chugg arching the back and handballing it to Sulzberger. He just chips to half forward for the impressive Brandon Leary, and Leary will set it up for Cox Goodyear. So Bradley Cox Goodyear to try and extend the lead to 40. With a mixed bag from him in front of goal this afternoon, but his last kick was an absolute beauty. His first of the afternoon. Try it for a second. He's got a kick from just outside the paint of 50. Gives it a tremendous ride. Bradley Cox Goodyear with a fantastic goal, and he extends the lead to 40 points. I think all of his shots have been pretty tough. And after a little bit of waywardness early, he's well and truly dialed in his radar. Two wonderful goals from his last two kicks. And the Northern Bombers with a commanding lead now of 40 points. Lee up against Siggins. Tackle laid from Simpson. Walsh going nowhere. Siggins just sticks the boot there into Lee. Can't be doing that. That'll be a free kick to the Northern Bombers ruckman. And he sends them forward once more. 2-on-1. The one was Cox Goodyear though, and he almost made it work against Stanley. Somehow the handball is flicked out. Great tackle from Charlie Treasure, saving the day there and winning a holding the ball free kick as well. And by the young fella. And Charlie Treasure at half back. He's off. To get it moving. Unfortunately, he put it straight down the throat of Dominic Pitt. Pitt just too far out to score. He plays on, gets to 50 and gives it a ride. It's not quite going to have the journey, but a free kick's been plucked. It'll go the way of Tyler Martin. And Martin, searching kick, couldn't quite find McGuinness. Palm down to Simpson. Simpson streams inside forward 50, sets sail for home. And misses. 10-14, 74 to 5-3, 33. It's Lauderdale clear defensive 50 here. Or juggling it was Patton, couldn't control it. The deck was Ollington. They work it forwards, it spills out now towards McGuinness, who pushing up the ground a little and getting a free kick here against Bales. Tried to buy the 50. Umpire said no, it was to you, he just took a step back. So Josh McGuinness, usually a good decision maker. Stands this one up, it was a good kick, but dropping back cleverly into the space there. Sulzberger, who's claimed in a tackle. Lee, Simpson, McGuinness. kick was spoiled and it bounced in the Blackburn direction. He just ran past it though, gathering at Vandam. Flicked the handball over the top to Simpson, who wheels away from Walsh. It was a good kick too. He found Sulzberger in some space. What about the quick dish to Hubbard? Wasn't really ready for it though. Instead just chokes as a runner forward by putting it out in front of Fletcher Bennett, and Fletcher Bennett has room to manoeuvre. Handball over the top to Chug. Chug spears one for Cox Goodyear. Wonderful ball movement. No way to defend that. The Lauderdale back six. Just hard running, hard working. Cox Goodyear will attempt for his third of the afternoon. And second from this kind of range in the final term. Once again, will kick just inside 50 this time. This time he's offline. The margin 42 points, but 10-15 to 5-3. You can see accuracy has kept the game perhaps closer on the scoreboard than it has been in the contest for much of the afternoon. Lockie Mitchell intercepting. He kicks it straight to Walsh. Walsh just turns around and blasts it down the corridor to Blackburn. He wanted the quick give, and he did so to Patton. Patton steering it forward. Poor kick straight to Lockie Mitchell. Oh, not gathered though. Might invite Bell Chambers in. He goes. Borks tries to fend off, and then he's caught. Somehow got rid of it. Siggins now. Cross to Smith. Back to Bell Chambers. Steadies himself, and then sets it up for Christensen. Couldn't take the mark. Bennett. Umpire spotted a throw. It's going to be a free kick going the way of Bell Chambers, I think. He's not interested. Luke Patton will be the one to take the kick. He wasn't either, so he chipped it sideways to McGuinness, made him stretch. Takes the mark at ground level. And a difficult kick ahead now of Josh McGuinness. Experienced customer Josh McGuinness thinks better of the shot, and in the end just chips it short, unselfishly finding Jeremiah Perkins. He'll go back with a more manageable shot here to try and cut the margin back to an even 6 goals. So Perkins leans back on it and misses. And that's sort of a day for the Lauderdale Bombers. Oscar Vandam now. Here's defensive 50 off hands out the back for McGuinness. Handball to Sutton. He sweeps one. Racket now. They work it to Smith, who had a fumble, and that let in the Northern Bombers, and away goes Jack Ahern, gliding through traffic. Handballs to Leary. Leary dishes for Cox Goodyear, just helped it into the path of Theo Ives rather than taking possession. Now shown there, Manshandon. Back to Ives. Slaps it on the boot, sends him inside forward 50. Numbers with the Cats, just getting away was Gridley. Fell to Pearce. He has a man all on his own in Roney, who just peeled off the back of the contest. And he'll go back. A chance to kick his first of the afternoon. And Max Roney. Kick about 40 out, hangs it out to the right. They looked like working it back. 10-16 now, the Bombers. Some of the out of bounds on the Fools, I reckon they've had 20 more shots than them today. Sutton gathers, drives it right down the guts. It's a good kick too to Smith. Smith hands it off to Siggins. Siggins pops it on over the top. Couldn't quite reach Blackburn. Leaflang defending it. and goes and gathers. And able to pick a target. No defence, they'll work it down the wing. Not a great kick though, almost lets in Luke Patton. With hands, Flang swung it wide and then to the corridor. There was Ahern. Ahern sends them deep inside forward 50. Some good work though from Martin. There's tries to take it past Cox Goodyear. Took Ahern in a tackle. Leary laying one. Umpire calls for it. Lee won it down. Cox Goodyear can take it away. Siggins slams it out of there. Off hands. Out the back to Fletcher Bennett. Gave it to Bales. The ball had too much pepper on it, but they keep it in play and they keep the ball in motion. Lee Flang charging forwards now. Sent deep inside the 50. Lying from behind Harvey Griffiths. Couldn't take it away. Off hand to Christensen. Christensen stands one up, but there's plenty of Bombers lurking. One of them's Max Roney. Over the top to Griffiths. Has time to steady himself. And he can't find the accuracy. They move along to 10 goals, 17 now. Speaking of inaccurate, Clarence 2 goals, 13. Still trailing the Norkie 4-3 at Launceston Arena. Launceston leading the Tigers 37-32 as well. In other action around the TSL this afternoon. Sticks Blackburn, takes the mark and then shifts it sideways to Siggins. Got it moving to Christensen. Their key movers getting involved here as they spread the ball wide. Treasure unable to take the mark. Patton going in Sutton. Turning backwards Patton. And they'll just poke it into the pocket. A 2-on-1 there for the Bombers of the North though, and they'll take it away. Chug wanted the 1-2 from Lee Flang. Lee Flang had his handball picked off by Sutton though, slams it on the boot and kicks it behind. .42 points on the margin. Slightly risky kick to Harry Bales. Was made to work for it there. Did well to take the mark ahead of Blackburn. Bit of a nothing kick really, straight to Sam Siggins. He gives it to Smith. He didn't want to take a shot, so retreated back instead to Patton. Patton works it back inside. Sutton's kick also offline. Consecutive behinds, but not the goal they're after. 41 points now at the margin. Late on at UTAS Stadium. Clear defensive 50, floats overheads through the hands in the end. Stanley couldn't gather. Hubbard taken in a firm tackle. Stanley to Christensen. Christensen through the legs in the end of Bellchambers. Hit was in there, but they win it back. Bellchambers now with a chance to steady and just pop it up. Couldn't find Blackburn backpedaling. And the Northern Bombers will get out of jail there. Lee to Griffiths. Harvey Griffiths with some dash through the middle of the ground. He draws a defender to him and then sends it deep inside 50. A one-on-one back there. The spoil came from Gridley. At ground level, they should be able to manage this, Lauderdale. They do. They work it out. Gallagher treats to Steinbauer. His kick did Jeremiah Perkins no favours. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick will go for Lee Flang. Lee Flang sets it up. The flyers come. Umpire spotted something. Martin thinks he'll be the recipient. Indeed he will be. Steers a kick, but it was over the head of Sutton. Simpson goes in. Handball back to Leary, claimed by Walsh, but over the shoulder. It's a lively customer, Brandon Leary. goes and pumps them deep once more. Tackle laid by Hubbard. And with Griffiths. Siggins up against Ives. Ives won it down. Pearce first to the full. Was he taken high by Siggins? Umpire calls for it. Siggins, the only one to go for it. Just whacked it over the top. Leary first to the fall of it. Ratcliffe, clears defensive 50. Off the chest of Vandam. No one can take it cleanly. Actually, Bales does, but he's wrapped up by McGuinness. Red time in the final term. It's been an impressive display from the Northern Bombers, who after a slow start to the year are righting the ship. A big win over Clarence last week and another convincing victory here today. Going nowhere was Francis. Lauderdale, well, difficult season for them so far, with the exception of a big win over Glenorchy. Some heavy defeats. Need to slip to a 1-4 record. Francis couldn't gather. Collected by Manshandon. Flipped it over the top to Chug. Chug composed in heavy traffic, as was Manshandon, but in the end just showed a little too much of it, and Francis got a hand in to break up the play. Lee on it down to Simpson. Simpson across to Manshandon. Manshandon to Ollington. Ollington composed, works it forwards, couldn't find a target with his kick. Griffiths lurking on the outside. So too Brandon Leary. Leary just chips it forward for Cox Goodyear. First to it though was Martin though. But it was decisive and cleared the area with a thumping kick, a 3-on-1 in favour of Lauderdale. Walsh able to work it out of there. Couldn't find Blackburn with the kick though. Instead Oscar Vandam intercepts. Vandam to Nicholas. Nicholas retreating further to Fletcher Bennett. And chip short for Lockie Mitchell. A hand into the corridor for Vandam. Some slick work here back to Mitchell, and Mitchell worked it to Rone. They continue to string them together. Ollington just forced back, and he's blasted it long inside 50. Great mark, Ives. Just outpointing Winter Theo Ives. It was a wonderful move. Sweeping handballs. Speed of ball movement through the corridor. Outstanding from the Northern Bombers, and in the end, though held up a little, they do get Theo Ives in the marking contest, and he brings it down. So kick the margin back out to 47 points. Fist bump there from Theo Ives. He's taken some nice marks inside forward 50 today. He gets himself another goal to show for it. And it is out to a 47-point lead now for the Northern Bombers. Very decisive stuff indeed. But tosses it back up. Lee over the top of Siggins. High paid against Harvey Griffiths there. Free kick going the way of Walsh. Punches a short one. Finds McGuinness. Shrugs the tackle. Keeps it moving. Couldn't quite find Blackburn at ground level. And there is the final siren at UTAS Stadium. Back-to-back wins. Back-to-back big wins for the Northern Bombers. They're starting to cook in season 2023, and they claim a big victory over Lauderdale here today. It was pretty impressive stuff. 11 goals, 17, 83. Goal kicking the only area that really let them down. to 5-6, 36. A commanding performance. Scores were level at the halftime break. They flipped the accelerator late in that third quarter and never looked back. As we ticked into red time in the third quarter, it was 40-32 in favour of the Northern Bombers. Well, they'd had the better of the contest, hadn't really been able to make it count on the scoreboard. They started taking their chances a little better, kicked 4 goals in red time in the third quarter. That really blew it open, and then continued the domination into the last, where it was clear Lauderdale Bombers' race was run. The Northerners too strong today. They claim another very good victory and win this one 83-46. A couple of tight games going on around the TSL elsewhere this afternoon. You can flick over and tune into those ones. It's Clarence by a point. Speaking of bad goal kicking, 2-16-28, leading Glenorchy 4-3-27, heading into the final term at Launceston Arena. Whilst in the grand final rematch at half-time, it's the Launceston Blues 37, leading the Tigers 32. So do tune into those ones. And for myself, Andrew calling the action out of the bunker this afternoon. The Bombers v Bombers duel. It was a day where the Northern Bombers were simply too good. Thank you for tuning in. Until next week, it's bye for now.